Meeting to order at 5:37. We have we have one amendment to the agenda. Item 10A, attachment, the school calendars. The attachment has the wrong date under this part. So for Richard Crane, K through 8, and VLA, the second and third trimester dates now are reflected to say 2024. We have new copies in the back. If they're approved tonight, new copies will be posted online, and all the trustees have been given new copies. We also have a change in the agenda format. As you've seen it before, in a previous meeting, I had said over the next couple months, there's going to be some changes in where we sit and how the agenda flows. In an effort to make sure that we start open session on time so that our student board members and presenters can be in and out in a timely manner, we are going to start splitting closed session. So we will start closed session at 5:30. If we can finish by 6, then closed session will end, and we will start the meeting at 6. If we are still in closed session, instead of delaying the start of the meeting, item 14 on the agenda allows us to reconvene into closed session at the end of the meeting so that our audience and presenters and board members aren't sitting here waiting while we finish stuff up, and we have ample time to talk in closed session thoroughly without having to speed up or watch the clock. So just wanted to go through those two. On the off chance the power goes out tonight because of the wind, we will wait about 10 minutes. If the power stays off, we will adjourn the meeting and reconvene at a later date, most likely tomorrow. If the power comes back on, we will continue on as normal. So, all right. So can I get an approval to the agenda as with the amendment to the 10A attachment?
I move that we approve the agenda as amended.
Can I get a second? Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We do have public comment on item 3A. Public comment is 20 minutes, and we have 9 people speaking. So I would like to make a motion to allow 2 minutes per person for a total of 20 minutes so that all 9 people can speak. Is there any discussion or... So change it from 3 minutes per person to 2 minutes per person. Is what I'm
20
asking.
minutes.
What?
I move 20 minutes for public comments.
And still leave 20 minutes so that way we can still go into some closed session and start the meeting, the open meeting at 6. Well, kind of, based on the time. Is everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that is what we will do tonight. And then, all right. Yeah, so I will make a motion to limit public comment for closed session to 2 minutes, not to exceed 20 minutes in total. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. All right. Do we have a timer? Otherwise I can do it. Oh, here it comes. All right, in the meantime, Jennifer Kuhn-Kansation.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Jennifer Kuhn-Kansation, and I am here speaking tonight as a proud technology middle school teacher. I am proud because in the 6 years since I first joined the TMS team, our school site has grown and improved so much. We owe that growth to the leadership of our principal, Miss McKenna. She has been our sturdy leader as we gain new staff to accommodate a growing student body, navigated the challenges of COVID, developed new bell schedules to meet the learning needs of our students, and guided us as we returned to quote-unquote normal. Principal McKenna is who staff goes to for support and guidance. She's who our students seek out as a trusted, respected adult. She's a friendly face on campus, and when a student or staff member needs her, she makes herself available. It is no easy task to manage a middle school, and yet she not only maintains it, she improves it every year. Principal McKenna has a leadership style that values staff, student, and community input. When new initiatives or opportunities are brought to our school, she brings them to our leadership team and guiding coalition. Because she values teachers' voices and perspectives, we create a genuine TMS team working to better our school so that all students can reach high levels of academic, social, and emotional success. And we do. I'm going to skip a little bit. And TMS continues to grow as a PLC each year thanks to Principal McKenna and her willingness to tackle even the most tricky situations. Despite the challenges and curveballs she's been thrown, Principal McKenna has maintained her integrity and her dedication to Technology Middle School. Her 7-year tenure at TMS is not something that can be easily replaced. Now more than ever, we need leaders committed to our community who stay and help and improve the educational systems already here. Time and again, Principal McKenna has proven herself to be a tech tiger. She has worked tirelessly to bring resources to our school to build equity and benefit our students and campus. To remove her from our site will crush our momentum, our growth, and our spirit. To be clear, when I say our, I am including teaching staff, support staff, students, and families, because all of us make TMS great. It is her leadership that continues to bring us together. Thank you.
Thank you. Jessica Tulloch. And next will be Clay Pafford, if you just want to get yourself ready.
Hi, I'm Jessica Tulloch. I am a teacher at Technology Middle School. Principal Sarah McKenna is an incredibly empathetic and reliable advocate for both students and staff at Technology Middle School. She has taken the time and made the effort to get to know our students, their families, and the unique strengths that they bring to our school and community. Principal McKenna recognizes that many of our students come to us with below grade level reading, comprehension, writing, and math skills, but she knows that they come to us with a deep desire to be successful and the ability to engage in rigorous learning activities. She encourages us to meet students where they are without judgment so we can build their confidence and their academic competencies. McKenna has scheduled meeting times with general education teachers, education specialists, and ELD teachers are able to collaborate to engage students at all ability levels and make sure they are able to access the curriculum and reach their full potential. Principal McKenna ensures that teachers have materials students can access and relate to. Students are presented with problems they are motivated to solve and activities that build their 21st century skills. This is clear in the wide selection of books that she has made available in our school library, the variety of electives offered to our students, and the learning activities students engage in within our classrooms. Principal McKenna has provided my colleagues and me the resources, information, and time to create cross-curricular, project-based learning units. Under McKenna's leadership, our school has been able to attend the SCO Synopsis STEAM Showcase, where our project and presentation was given distinguished recognition. Last year, our students participated in a project-based learning experience connected to Bay Area Project Superplants Group. Ms. McKenna has connected our English and math departments with the SCO's lesson study team to enhance our conversations surrounding students' academic development and achievement. And these conversations with SCO have informed and elevated our work within our PLCs. Principal McKenna is the type of leader I hope to be one day. She sees the good in our students, our staff, and our community. But even more important, she brings out the good in everyone. I'm not alone in feeling that our students, staff, and principal go unknown and unrecognized in this district. Ms. McKenna's efforts and achievements are being ignored, but our TMS community recognizes her greatness. TMS is a great school today because Sarah McKenna has and is a great principal, and to lose Sarah as our leader would be devastating.
Thank you. Next up is Clay Pafford, and then Ben Meshes is next.
Hi, my name is Clay Pafford. I'm a 8th grade math teacher at Tech Middle School. I strongly oppose the removal and demotion of Sarah McKenna. So let's get to know what SARA stands for. S is for supportive. Sarah supports her staff in the classroom, the sports arena, and in extracurricular activities. A is for attentive. Sarah listens to her staff and has created a cohesive team dynamic wherein we are all narrowly focused on the education and enrichment of our students. R, reliable. Sarah is a steady source of encouragement for staff and students alike. And A is for able. Sarah has not only met her job requirements, she has exceeded them on a daily basis. In addition to meeting her responsibilities, Sarah has a tremendous rapport with the students. They feel safe. They ask us, if they can go see her during class. They see her in the quad. They see her in front of school. They adore her. She's their advocate and their confidant. Board members, if you decide to dismiss her this evening, it would cause a negative ripple effect on our campus. Why make a hard job harder? Why is the board entertaining the whims of Dr. Perez, someone who received an overwhelming vote of no confidence last year? A headline in the June 2022 Community Voice states, quote, more than 92% of the Rohnert Park Cotati teachers have no confidence in the superintendent, end quote. As a reminder, the board works for the students and the community, not for Myra Perez. It is a well-known fact that Myra has been trying to get rid of Sarah for the past couple of years, and frankly, we can't seem to figure out why. Sarah's merit more than speaks for itself. This seemingly personal beef needs to be handled like mature professionals instead of like the petty middle school students we teach. As you enter your closed session, remember all the accolades that Sarah McKenna's staff has given tonight. She is an asset to Tech Middle and the Rohnert Park Cotati School District. Thank you.
Ben Meshes is up, and then Juan Arturo Garcia Rodriguez is next.
I'm here not speaking on I'm here speaking as a TMS teacher, not as RIPSIA president. And I want to be really clear about that. I came to TMS in January of 2017 to fill a position that was empty. I was a pre-intern at that point. I spent 3 more years after that finishing out my intern program. And I know for a fact that I wouldn't be the teacher that I am today if it weren't for the leadership of Sarah McKenna. She's the only principal I've ever had over at TMS, and she's done so much for me. She is the example that we want our intern teachers, of which we have a few on campus now, once again. People need to see people like her. She's the kind of educator I want to be. She's shown me, you see her out on the quad talking to our students, and she seems called to helping those who have the hardest time fitting in, to helping those who have the hardest time finding conventional success at the middle school level. She speaks to them, and they listen, and they understand, and she understands where they're coming from, and they understand what she's saying. And it is so clear that she has such a special connection with those students, the ones who are most likely to fall behind, the most likely to slip through the cracks. I have modeled my teaching on that example. I've learned so much from working with Sarah. I've watched her go from being a brand new administrator and running, frankly, chaotic staff meetings where people were very angry often when I first started, to being the kind of administrator who takes teacher opinions and not only hears them, but we all see the results of what she does when she actually acts on those concerns that teachers bring up. She takes concrete action to make it a better place to be. She gets the teacher buy-in on district ideas. When we're doing things like PBIS, we're doing things like MTSS, she makes sure we make sure that we understand why, and she helps create teacher leaders on campus who help to implement that. I can't possibly, it would be a disaster for our school to lose Sarah. And I really, really hope that we keep in mind what all the teachers here are saying. There's a lot of good stuff being said. Thank you.
Ben. Juan Arturo Garcia Rodriguez, and then next is Shirley Weicker.
Before I begin, I would like to recognize the native lands that we're occupying tonight, the Coast Miwok and Grand Rancho Chair. My name is Juan Arturo Garcia Rodriguez. I go by Arturo, second-year intern ed specialist. Sarah McKenna took me in while I started here at TMS. During our IEP meetings, she advocates for the best for the students and takes time to get to know the families. With the support of Ms. McKenna, we have started a homework center that we start every Wednesday and every Thursday before school with a paraprofessional and our librarian to support our students. I host another one after school every Thursday to support our students. She has advocated for our library to get our books and our new bookshelves. With our PBS team, we also have a book vending machines that we're using to have an initiative for our students. On another topic, on December 15, Petaluma School District and Sonoma State met together to sign an agreement called the Promise Act. This Promise Act allows that the Promise Act is that students from Petaluma District will have direct admissions to Sonoma State. My question is, will we do that too? Thank you.
Thank you. Shirley? And then next up is Mary N.
Hi, my name is Olga Sash, and Shirley Weicker just had to walk out, so I'm reading her notes for her. Sorry, she had to leave. Shirley said, Sarah, our principal at TMS has been supportive of the new curriculum that meets California standards and is equity-based. We were supported by SCO also in using lesson study. Our math team piloted a free math curriculum, putting us ahead of the curve in math education in our district and in California. In response to our student population needs, Sarah found Second Step, a social emotional learning program to pilot. I personally teach social emotional learning every single week in our classroom, and I know that the rest of our staff does too. Shirley also said Sarah was thoughtful about its implementation, with a designated time in staff meeting to highlight the whys and go over the pacing. She also includes the lesson in weekly announcements that all the TMS is on the same page. Since I have a little bit more time, I wanted to add my own thoughts that Sarah McKenna is the kind of leader who is respectful, encouraging, supportive, understanding, positive, sensitive, and patient. Sarah is the kind of leader who understands how hard it is to be a teacher. She also is a very kind leader. She leads with kindness instead of fear and intimidation. We really appreciate the kind of leadership that she gives. I feel like that's a great example of leadership. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary, and then after Mary is Bryna.
Tonight, I would like to address Agenda Item 3B, Public Employee Discipline Dismissal, released per California Gov Code 54957. As we all know, this relates to our TMS principal, Sarah McKenna. There is a lot of information in the universe. I pick and choose where I get my information and from what kinds of sources. Is the source biased? Is the source trustworthy? It is within my purview to assess and reassess information as I come across it, to fact check, if you will. As I stand here before you, I feel obliged to say that you are being misled to believe that we are under the direction of a leader who is not serving our site in the capacity at which she should. This is simply inaccurate. So let's go ahead and take a look at the data. Under guidance from our principal, teachers provide a rigorous academic curriculum, all the curriculum that you, the board, and you, the superintendent, provided to us. We also provide social emotional learning weekly to students with the curriculum you, the board, and you, the superintendent, provided to us. So let's go ahead and look at the data related to students with D's and F's. Like any other school statistic, the data does not lie. We do have students with D's and F's, and you know what? So does Lawrence Jones. I bet Lawrence Jones has students with D's and F's just like we do. However, site-wide over the course of the last 2 years, 2 tricky years post-COVID across this district, our D's and F's have drastically decreased due to the passion, drive, and motivation of our educators and students. And oh right, our fearless leader who is standing behind us, encouraging us to do it, and buying us coffee and donuts while we look at the data every single week. So as you head into closed session, I urge you to fact-check the information as you have received it. You have a number of people up here speaking on behalf of someone who has an awful lot of support to be doing the wrong thing. She has an awful lot of support for people saying that she's making limited progress with her students and her site, and I feel like that's just something you have to take into consideration. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary. Bryna Wigmore, and then after Bryna is Esther Sanchez.
Good evening, Superintendent Perez and the board. My name is Bryna Wigmore. I'm speaking not as president of SEIU, but as a paraprofessional who's worked at Technology Middle School since it opened 10 years ago. I love working at TMS. This is the third principal I've worked under. They've all been great, but Sarah's the only one that's been able to bring unity to our staff. And, you know, over the last few years, the district's had lots of ups and downs. And I didn't want to come up and be negative. So I want to talk about really and focus on the positives. Every morning I drive up, Sarah's out there. You know, on the rare occasion if she has an IEP or a district thing going on, she's not. But I know that if I need to find her, because I'm not a teacher, so I can't talk about all the great implementations or programs, okay? So I'm going to be honest, I'm very layman. I don't know any of that. I know that if I have a problem, I go to the office during work hours, unless it's break or recess or lunch. Sarah's out in the quad. She's with the kids. She's always available. I know that if I have a union issue, like with personnel, she's always approachable. She's always understanding. We never have to go to the district office. You guys never hear about me filing a complaint for my union. We always are able to work things out. I've been always very lucky. She's approachable, understanding. So we've been lucky. And it's been a great pleasure to work with Sarah. I find her to be a fair person. And the other thing is, I've also worked in the district a long time. And so 17 years ago, the district made a decision to get rid of a principal at a different school that I was working at Evergreen. And I think Leff was on the board for that one, so he probably remembers. It was Avis Chesmore Engelberg. And it was a hardship on the district. It didn't just affect Evergreen. It affected Hahn when they had to transfer Galen Versace over to Evergreen. It affected Waldo when they transferred Bonnie Barron over to Hahn. There was 3 schools with upset teachers. There was 3 schools with upset parents. There was 3 schools with upset students. And they weren't just upset at the district. They were upset at other schools. I was a parent at Evergreen, and I had parents upset from Hahn going, well, if you guys had quit complaining, we wouldn't have lost our principal. Now we lost our great principal, and she had to go over there. I remember just all the drama and stress. And after the strike, I really feel it's important that we create good relationships. We're trying to be healing, and that's why I'm really trying to stay positive. And I know that you guys have the students and the staff and everybody's best interests. And so I just want to give a different perspective, a perspective not from a teacher, but from, like, I've been a parent. I have a grandson at Evergreen. And even though I go, hey, we're at TMS, it may still really affect him because I've seen it do the trickle down from all the schools. So I just want a decision to be well-informed, and maybe it doesn't even have to be made. Thank you.
Thank you, Bryna. Esther Sanchez.
Hello, my name is Esther Sanchez, and today I'm speaking on behalf of Ms. McKenna. I'm actually a Tech Middle alumni as well as a Rancho Cotati alumni, and I'm currently a Sonoma State student. I'm speaking on behalf of Ms. McKenna because as I did not have the pleasure to have her as an elementary school teacher, I had the honor to have her as a middle school principal. I just would like to say that earlier it was said that if you guys were to take her away, it would be a disgrace to our community because since I've been in middle school, I can see that she's been a role model for I'm sorry.
It's okay.
For the kids of color in our community, as you can see, and it's, you know, very noticeable and very obvious that Lawrence Jones is on a side where, you know, they have wealthy families, you know, that are able to provide money and support their schools. But it's not fair that our funds are being taken away from us at Technology Middle School because our parents aren't allowed to support our schools. On our side at Technology Middle School, it's full of, I'm sorry, but like, you know, kids of color. Ms. McKenna has given us a voice, has given us many opportunities. I can say that when I was in middle school, I can say that I did not think that I was gonna make it to college. I did not think that I was gonna pass high school because it's always been a statistic. It's always been prediction for Mexican students to not make it past high school. Miss McKenna has always supported me, has always provided me with the motivation to make it to Sonoma State. She didn't really force me, but, Miss Reebley was the AVID teacher here at Rancho, and she, recommended AVID to me, and that's what got me into Sonoma State. But I just would like to say that Miss McKenna is much more than just a leader, and much more than just a principal. She's a person of great influence, and I feel like she's a great role model to all these faculty. She's been a teacher, so she knows what it's like to be in their spot. She's not here to help them. I mean, she's here to help them. She's not here to not help them. She's not here to be lazy at her job. If anything, and every time, whenever I go visit her, and that's very occasional because she's the principal and I am a student, but every time I speak to her, she's always busy doing something for school, always in a school board meeting, and always trying to find a better way to make our school better for our kids of color. Thank you.
Thank you, Esther. All right, we will now convene to closed session. We will reconvene to open session. Report of action taken at closed session for A1, case number 2223-03-SD. Can I get a motion to approve?
Make a motion that we approve case number 2223-03-SD.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Trustee Alba,
Aye.
Trustee Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Martin,
Aye.
Trustee Nelson,
Aye.
Trustee Wing.
Yes. And 4.2, public employee dismissal or discipline dismissal release. We will reconvene to close session on item 14 and finish this item. All right, flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Special recognitions and presentations. Rancho Cotati High School student.
I'd like to ask Principal Heather Remy to come to the front. We have a special acknowledgement tonight. We're going to show a little video from one of our amazing students, Rancho Cotati High School students. And I also want to thank Christina Brandenburg for providing the video. We're going to honor Jacob Pruitt, and he's not able to be with us tonight, so we're going to show a little video.
Hi, I'm Heather Ramey, interim principal at Rancho Cotati High School. Thanks for having me tonight. It's my pleasure to introduce you virtually to our 11th grade student, Jacob Pruitt. He is our true, what we call our Renaissance man at Rancho Cotati High School. He is a star athlete, and as you will see in a minute, a gifted performer. So Jacob has won the Sonoma County Poetry Out Loud competition, which is the first time a Rancho Cotati High School has received, a student has received this honor. But that's not the only thing that Jacob has done and has received honors for this year. So Jacob Pruitt is a 3-year varsity track athlete. He is a 2-time defending league champion in the 100 meters, and he holds the school record for the 100 meters for Rancho Cotati. He's also a 2-year varsity football starter. He's earned an all-league quarterback honors this season because he took over for our quarterback who was injured. And he has tied the school record for being involved in the most touchdowns in one game, which is 7. And that was this season. And he maintains a 4.0 GPA. So for those of you who don't know, Poetry Out Loud is a national arts education program. It encourages the study of great poetry and offers a dynamic competition for high school students to recite poems. So it's not a poetry slam. They are not reading original poems. They are reciting poems that are chosen from an anthology that is provided by the Poetry Out Loud program. It masters public speaking skills, builds self-confidence, and students learn about literary history and contemporary life. So contestants select and recite their own poems, and they are evaluated on the following criteria: physical presence, voice and articulation, dramatic appropriateness, and evidence of understanding of the poem's meaning. And they are to embody all this as they recite the poem. And he has been coached extensively, like Dr. Pred says, by Ms. Brandenburg. And we are all very, very proud of Jacob. Sad he couldn't be here tonight, but I must say the video does do it justice. So I believe we have it queued up. He's going to read 2 pieces.
At Rancho, I try to break out of the status quo daily by being a multi-school record-holding jock with a 4.0 GPA and an openly emotional way of expressing myself. I have used this side of me since middle school. In the little free time that school and athletics allow, I enjoy dabbling in photography and modeling for my own Instagram.
I'm I'm Jacob Pruitt, and I'll be reciting Oranges by Roshan Kelly. I'll choose for myself next time who I'll reach out and take as mine. In the way I might stand at a fruit stall, having decided to ignore the apples, the mangoes, and the kiwis, but hold my hands above a pile of oranges as if to warm my skin before a fire. Not only have I chosen oranges, but I'll also choose which orange. I'll test a few for firmness, scrape some rind off with my fingernails so that a citrus scent will linger there all day. I won't be happy with the first one I picked, but will try different ones until I know you. How will I know you? You'll feel warm between my palms, and I'll cup you like a handful of holy water. A vision will come to me of your exotic land, the sun you swelled under, the tree you grew from. A drift of white blossoms from the orange tree will settle in my hair, and I'll know. This is how I will choose you. By feeling you, smelling you, by slipping you into my coat. Maybe then I'll climb the hill, look down on the town we live in with sunlight on my face and a miniature sun burning a hole in my pocket. Thirsty, I'll suck the juice from it. From you. When I walk away, I'll leave behind a trail of lamp bright rind.
I did want to add that I had the privilege of meeting Jacob, and he was in advanced fashion design, and I got to see his capstone project. He's also an amazing tailor, creative, and definitely a Renaissance man.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right, I appreciate it. That's impressive. I'm going to have him come read the agenda from now on. He does a better job. All right. 6A, Student Board Member Report. David Zepeda. With passion and... I'm just kidding.
But David, this is your own material.
All right. Good evening, school board. A lot of fun and exciting events have taken place since our last board meeting. First off, the student of the month theme for this month is organization. Then, as an ASB class, we concluded our step-up day tours in our pasta feed, which both events were successful. We also concluded our Scholastic Book Fair, which many students were able to purchase books, accessories, and posters. In a total, we raised over $4,000. Rancho held an open house on February 7th for incoming 9th graders and RCHS students. Many students and families attended, toured our amazing campus, and asked many questions. Our second blood drive of the year took place on February 9th. We had a blood drive sign-ups on February 2nd, 3rd, 6th, and 8th, and many students signed up and donated blood. Then, as we concluded our clothing drive, the final count that we raised was $3,775. On February 11th, many Tech High and Rancho student leaders participated in helping at the Chambers of Commerce crab feed. This event was amazing as we were able to raise money for our schools and have both high schools work together. Our varsity cheerleaders showcased their routine that they will be taking to nationals in Anaheim last Friday at SSU. ASB commissioner applications are due March 9th and student activities are due March 9th at the Student Activity Center, and executive board applications opened up yesterday, February 20th. Then Rancho alumni and astronaut Nicole Mann participated in a live Q&A with Rancho students from the International Space Station. And then this past week, we had our annual Unity Week, which was held from February 14th through 17th. We had many amazing presentations, such as Origami with Henry Kaku, Living Voices, The Eyes through Anne Frank, Bocce Ball with Mr. Yaya, African Drummers, Viaje, A Journey Through the Americas by Profe Lucia, and then Mayor Samantha Rodriguez and Taiko Drummers. Along with these incredible presentations, we also had a stunning assembly on Friday, which was filled with dances, a fashion show, lion dance, baile folklorico, and a traditional Samoa performance called the Siva. Thank you.
Thank you. For Tech High School, Naomi Hernandez.
Good evening, and thank you for having me. We have held and planned many events this past month. January 18 was our first career fair day, which was a significant success. It was an idea that came from the advisory team, and our counselor took over the role. There were a total of 6 25-minute long sections that allowed students to learn from the speakers who share about their career/professions experience and gave advice. Students were able to learn about the various topics such as environmental studies, nursing, the community voice, software, marketing, engineering, and more. Ms. Spencer received many positive responses from students, parents, and staff members. One student said that she was able to broaden her perspective on various careers as she wrote notes that helped her think about her future careers. The goal of this event was to implement the experience and bring more purpose to the students' 6-year plans, which certainly did. It is an event that we hope to continue having as a tradition. We want to thank the advisory committee, counselor, and speakers for contributing to this successful event that helped many students begin their thinking journey after high school. Counselor Appreciation Week was this month, and it gave us the opportunity to show how much we appreciate Ms. Juarez for all she does for our school. Our applicant process is still going on. Each applicant has completed their math evaluation. The first round of interviews happened, with 2 more dates coming up. Applicants do an individual interview and complete a group project during the interview. We want to thank April for being amazing and continue organizing the process. We are looking forward to welcoming a new group of Titans to Technology High School. Our canned food drive began on January 23rd and ended on February 6th. We encourage students to participate by organizing a point system. We divided the most necessary items for greater influence on the scoring system. Pasta and rice were worth double points, while canned chicken and tuna were worth minus points, so students can sabotage other classes by donating their negative point items. Any other item was worth 1 point. The class with the most points would receive breakfast of their choice. We're planning to have a 2-day bonus point canned food drive to get more items to finalize our results. Blood drive was on February 7th. We had a very successful registration. There were a total of 30 people who signed up to donate. Unfortunately, due to the mechanical issues with the blood model, there was a delay in the arrival of the bus. Many people were unable to donate that day, so we're planning a second blood drive for people who were unable to donate. Now they will be able to. The Tech High drama, with the guidance of director Ms. Walters, prepared themselves for months to produce Guys and Dolls. There were a total of 3 shows, all so much fun to watch. It was a spectacular performance. All performances took place at the Ranchos Tech Building Theater. We are all so proud of all your hard work in putting together a very lovely performance. The Associated Student Body has started their application process for next year. Applications for executive board members are due this Friday. It includes class representatives and cabinet positions that are president, vice president, secretary, treasurers, public relations, and spirit commissioner. An election convention is being planned. General member applications will open on March 16 and are due on March 31st. There will be more information coming soon. On March 10, there will be several events. The election convention will take place on this day. Student delegates elected by their advisory class and cabinet members will attend. It will allow students to show their candidates and share more details about the candidates with their peers. Our spring rally will take place afterwards. The planning has started. We are all very excited. It will be a glow-in-the-dark theme. There will be engaging activities for everyone to participate in, and cabinet members will share their primary speeches. The date for this year's prom will be April 22nd. Our venue is Sonoma Raceway in the Carousel Room. This year's theme is Black and White Gala. We will start selling tickets on March 6th and look forward to sharing more details. Our latest fundraising was flower grants. We purchased 50 roses that students were able to purchase for $5 to be hand-delivered on February 14. Having successful fundraiser allows us to give more to our student body. Spring sports have started. Track, golf, tennis, baseball, softball, and swimming have begun practicing. We look forward to cheering on our student athletes as always. I look forward to sharing next month's report. Thank you.
To reports and activities. I'll start and we'll just go down the row. So I had the privilege of going. SCO hosted a dinner for all the school board trustees in Sonoma County a couple weeks ago, and Dr. Naguria did a presentation about equity in the schools. And you think you've been to enough equity presentations, but he was so engaging and so charismatic, and just looked at it through a totally different lens and presented it in a totally different way. And so it gave me a lot to think about. In fact, it's come up in a couple of the meetings that I've been in to just kind of really think about things from a different perspective. So I really thank SCO for putting that on. John hosted a lovely budget meeting and was actually, it was great and well attended. We had union people there, we had teachers, we had some parents. It was really nice to have a diversity, and excited to go back to the next one. And then I had the privilege of presenting at Tech High's career fair. So I got to talk to the students about marketing and what that means in the different careers. And in each one, a couple people actually said they wanted to do that. So that was time well spent, but it was very well put together. And I hope it's something that we can continue doing. So there you go. Trustee Nelson.
Okay, am I on here? Okay, so apologies. I tweaked my neck on Saturday, so I have vertigo if I move my neck too quickly. Welcome to Eric. I wasn't there for your swearing-in ceremony, so welcome to the board. That night I was at the Rancho Cotati back-to-school night for the spring term, where interestingly enough in sewing I did see one of Jacob Pruitt's his prom vest that he is I guess styling or making. I guess he's doing both designing and creating it. And after that, we did go to, assisted the LCAP, my first LCAP meeting on that committee, and then the ELAC committee, and also got to attend the NBL Wrestling Championship tournament at Cardinal Newman, so that was pretty interesting. My daughter did win first place in the NBL. And I think I had a learning experience at the NCS last week at Albany High School. We definitely have better facilities for that, so just wondering one day when Rancho will be hosting that, and that's about it for me.
Thank you. Trustee Brown?
So I want to thank Matt Transu for creating an amazing connection between Nicole Mann and our students in this room. We had 8 students ask Nicole questions at the National Space Station, and I thought each of those students were outstanding. Some of the key things that when Nicole did her talk, I'll go back and I'll go back forward here. When Nicole talked about after going through the Naval Academy, she joined the Marines, and one of the students had a Marine sweatshirt on that, which I thought was kind of cool. And then another student had a NASA sweatshirt on, which was equally, moving type of thing. So let's reverse and go back 28 years ago. 28 years ago, across the street, a shy month, was Senior Awards Night. My son, my daughter-in-law, Matt, and Nicole were all on that stage receiving awards. And if you've been to a Senior Awards Night, I had 3 boys, and they've all done well, and they went to college, but they didn't put as much effort into high school. I mean, they were 3-point. They weren't the 4.5. But that night, surprising enough, my daughter-in-law that was valedictorian kept coming up and coming up and coming up and coming up, which was impressive for all the awards that she got and where she went. But what was equally impressive is they come up with this giant check for a student going to the Annapolis. So you're kind of blown away thinking, my kid. So here's Nicole, at that time was, help me, Anna Poo, thank you. Now Nicole Mann, and being presented a check for 4 years of education, completely paid. And as a parent sitting out there going, oh my God, that's a dream. But also it's a dedication. I've known 2 other kids. One went to West Point and one went to the Air Force Academy. Unfortunately, the one at West Point didn't make it because it's a chore to go through that, and it's a dedication type thing. So fast forward to a week and a half ago when we were all here watching Nicole, 3 things out of that speech just blew me away. And I think every parent, every student when they can realize, the importance of that, should listen to that video. And what Nicole said, when the students ask her, how'd you become an astronaut and this and that? She says, I never knew. What was most important was building the foundation. And I don't know how many years I've been saying this on this board. You got to build the foundation. And she repeated that 2 or 3 times, talking about how important education was. And it just blew me away. I just thought that was amazing that here, 28 years later, from building that foundation, she's reached a dream of becoming an astronaut. And then prior to that, a jet pilot. And so I was just, thanks to Matt, thanks to the high school for putting that on, and thanks to that. But I mean, the clip's out there. But if you're a parent, when your child is old enough and they're not in kindergarten, when they're, it's important there. But when that can sink in to where, I mean, parents should understand that, to what the importance of building the foundation. But the students should realize that too. So, I mean, that's exciting. 2 other things that Nicole said when she was talking about her, things that really caught me. She addressed a lot of issues. I mean, as to barriers, and this and that. But one of the things that got me, they said, "What do you do during your off time?" And she says, "Well, I love to sit, on the bottom of the space station and look down at Earth. And one of the most amazing things is, the sunset and the sunrise and the atmosphere." And what really struck me that I heard in her voice and I heard in her concern saying how fragile our atmosphere is. And I thought, oh, darn, if our atmosphere goes away, we're in big trouble. So, it was just a big message to me of we got to take care of this earth. And that's what I heard from her. And the last thing on a personal note, when she was explaining G-forces and the rocket going off and hitting 3G and 4G, I can remember when I was younger, I used to love roller coasters and that kind of stuff, and had a racing go-kart when I was younger. And then about, 7 or 8 years ago, my oldest son bought a birthday present for me to go race go-karts that go 100 miles an hour. And so I experienced a G-force about 3 hours into this thing that just made me nauseous as can be. So I could not believe, here's Nicole talking about, as you go up and your tongue and your throat from the G-force is just forced. I remembered how sick I got, and I've talked to people that have flown in jets and stuff like that. That's not for everybody. You got to develop that. So, from a personal standpoint, congratulations to Nicole for achieving that. Giving us stardom. There's been lots of other students that have done stardom. They become doctors and other careers and stuff out of this school. So it's just exciting. So I was just jazzed by that, and I'm going to make sure that anyone that's that has a kid that's going through schools, for orientation, should watch that video and look and see how important the foundation is. So that was exciting for me, and I watched it with Myra, and I think she was equally as motivated. And thanks again to Matt and everyone that put that on. It was really exciting.
Great. Can't wait to see who our next Rancho astronaut is. Exciting. All right, Trustee Martin.
I had the great privilege of attending 2 showings of Guys and Dolls put on by Technology High School. I was really impressed with the level of performance by the cast and the directorship, productionship of Miss Walters. It was an amazing production and a great time in the community.
Great, thank you. Trustee Alba?
So, a little less than a year ago, I started on the journey to be filling this seat with the goal to work with an amazing team, superintendent, administrators, principals, school staff, and the families and our students, with the goal of continuing the innovation of our district, continuing the improvement of our district, and making sure we were fiscally responsible. And so as the year went on last year and I got closer to my dream, I always wanted to be on the school board, and it became a reality. December 13th, I believe the date was, and I got to raise my hand to be an area 2 trustee and start on that dream. But life sometimes throws you curves. And in January, late January of this year, I experienced a very serious medical situation, somewhat life-threatening, and found out that I had additional medical issues, that my journey was going to have to change to focus on that medical journey. So after careful thought and consideration, I am regretfully resigning from my position as trustee Area 2 of the Cotati-Roanoke Park Unified School District Board of Education, effective February 22nd, 2023. Due to current medical challenges, I'm unable to perform the duties that it takes to be an effective board member. Thank you for the opportunity to serve the community of Cotati-Roanoke Park. I wish the Cotati-Roanoke Park Unified School District Board of Education continued success, and I look forward to the continued innovation and forward movement, making our district one of the best school districts in Sonoma County. And I want to personally thank all the teachers, the staff, whether they be a janitor or custodian, or they be helping on social emotional learning, the principals, and the administration. All of you are doing a wonderful job. Please keep that up, and you'll be in my prayers. Sincerely signed, Cassandra May Alba, this date.
Thank you, Trustee Alba. So we want to thank you for stepping up and being willing to run a campaign, not having to run a campaign, and being able to serve your community. We are very sorry to see you go, but we wish you the best health, and our thoughts and prayers are with you during this time, and we look forward to seeing you back up there at some point, working with the community voice and possibly running for the seat in the future. So thank you again, and we wish you the best. So we will take a 5-minute recess and be back at 6:50. We call the meeting back to order at 6:52. We might have to get a bigger clock back there. I think it says 6:52. Okay. It's not me, it's the clock. Okay. Item 6C, Superintendent Report. Oh, let the record show that Trustee Alba has left and will not be returning for the rest of the meeting. All right, 6C, Superintendent's Report.
So we have a few activities since our last board meeting. We had a DLAC meeting, and we got input on our family and parent engagement policy. I have to say it's really exciting. We are building that group. We have a lot of high school parents that are represented. And I want to thank Rita Baltazar, our community liaison, for making sure that they're attending and calling them and reminding them of the meeting. So it's really exciting to see that group grow. Site visits, I was able to go to Richard Crane. It was really exciting to see all the engagement and literacy going on early in the morning. And I had the privilege of being in a 5th grade class where students were being admitted to Hogwarts School of Wizarding. So they're really excited, and the sorting hat has sorted them into their houses. I just checked with the teacher today. We also had the ribbon cutting at El Colegio. It is wonderful to partner with Sonoma County Office of Education. The classrooms and the campus is absolutely beautiful, and it is so wonderful to have the opportunity to have our kids have a proper yard and proper size, and they don't have to walk across campus to a kindergarten yard. They have a preschool yard, so it's very exciting. I got some wonderful news today. We have Han has been selected as a semifinalist for Sonoma County, for Sonoma University, as a semifinalist for their innovation award, and this is because they have professional learning teams. It requires a 1-hour observation, so the school will be visited by Professor Dr. Asia Leduc, and she will be there and spend time, and then they'll decide if they are an honoree. I also want to mention that something pretty exciting has happened in the district. We have had the opportunity to send every student that wanted to attend to outdoor education. And that was so exciting. That happened through January and February. It's really good to talk to the teachers. Today I was talking to a 5th grade teacher at Richard Crane and talking about the wonderful experience it was. We didn't have too many homesick kids. They did really well. And I do want to thank that the visionary of this was Principal Christina Lundy. And she started it. She talked to the principals. She got a grant, and now we're talking about self-sustaining grant. But what an opportunity to provide our 5th graders, and because of the innovation of one, and then a group that rallied around her and said, yes, let's do this for our students. So that's my report for this evening. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. Cotati-Roanoke Park Educators Association report. Mr. Meshes.
I think I accidentally unplugged something. Okay. Sorry. I don't have a whole lot to say tonight. I wanted to thank Trustee Alba. We really appreciate, stepping up into a leadership position is adding a lot of stress and responsibility that you don't have to take on. And it means a lot that you stepped up to do that. On the behalf of RIPSIA, I wish you the best in your medical situation, and we hope to see you back here healthy and ready to lead in our district again someday. I'd also like to welcome Trustee Martin. So happy that you're here. It's really great that seat's filled now. I also wanted to invite you. I found out about this today, but there's a Sonoma Marin School Board lunch put on by CTA. I'll send you details about this through email, but it's Saturday, April 22nd from noon to 3 at the McInnes Golf Park Center in San Rafael. I don't know if I'll be there. I'll have a newborn. But a representative of RIPSIA will be there, and it's an opportunity to get to know one another and kind of share what our goals are as an organization and get off on the right foot in terms of our relationship. I'm looking forward to working with you more and getting to know you a little bit better. Upcoming here, we've got site-based MOUs to talk about. So far, nothing too wild, no major sticking points that I'm foreseeing. Hopefully we can find some good common ground that'll be in the best interest of all of our students and the sites. Something I wanted to bring up, there have been petitions circulated at Lawrence Jones that some teachers have expressed concerns over. Students are distributing petitions pushing for the dismissal of staff. This started with an administrator, and I think there have been petitions against teachers as well. Our hope moving forward is that in this kind of a situation, site administration will make it clear to the student body that while they have the right to distribute these petitions as part of their right to free speech, student petitions will not be a factor in staffing decisions. It's unfair to staff there to have any student being able to put together a petition saying, I don't like this person for this reason, and then not have a strong response to that makes it clear that those decisions will be made based on other reasons if they're going to happen. Some exciting things going on are Jessica Gilleran's class, UELF. Fifth graders are working on Black History Month projects. Each student chose a notable African American who's helped lift up the lives of others and supported civil rights. Students are learning to research, take Cornell notes, and write bibliographies. The ending project will be to create a website or an original art project and present it to other classes. The class is really excited and doing great work this month. Additionally, over at TMS, our leadership class has been researching and sharing information about well-known and less well-known Black visionaries during morning announcements. Every single day we hear some sort of a share out about these people. It ranges from folks that I am very familiar with to people I never would have heard of otherwise, and it's been super, super informative and an awesome way to celebrate Black History Month. In the music world, we've had a lot of success at the high school level in some honor bands. Tech High sent one student to All-State, which is like the big prize for us right now, which is really, really cool. 2 students to the NorCal Honor Band, and then 5 at the Sonoma County Honor Band. Rancho sent 8 choir students and 5 band students to NorCal Honor Band, and 8 to Sonoma County. That means that for a Sonoma County Honor Band that's 75 students, almost 20% of them came from our district. Really, really cool stuff. We like that. Additionally, this Saturday, February 25th, Drumline and Color Guard from here at Rancho will be participating in their first competition of the season at San Mateo High School. I spend a lot of time talking to the rest of the music staff here. We're looking forward to working with the district to develop a plan for the arts moving forward. I know that our arts committee is going to be meeting pretty soon here. I know we have a lot of ideas. I know that the district has a lot of ideas. Hopefully we can get together and develop a cohesive plan for the future of our district in terms of arts, especially with this giant influx of money coming from Prop 28 to help support those programs. That's all I have to say for today. Do we have any questions about anything I said?
Ben, I have one question. So I understand the petitions at LJ, and I agree that a student can't just go and start a petition and get a teacher fired. There's a lot more to it and stuff like that. What I don't understand, though, is how that's any different than when RIPSIA asked the students to participate in the strike. And those teachers had no problem asking students to come speak and to write us letters and to, talk to us at different times. But now the tables have flipped, and maybe the students don't like something that a teacher's doing. How can you tell the students to participate in one way, but then tell them, but I don't want you to do it if it's against me?
What I would say to that is that RIPSIA as an organization and the leadership of RIPSIA was pretty clear with the rest of our members at the time of the strike that communicating to parents, communicating publicly in that way is one thing and is within our rights as American citizens, but that it wasn't cool to reach out to students and say, hey, participate in this way, do this, do that kind of a thing. Students found out about what was going on through their parents. I can't say with certainty that no teacher said anything to, because I don't, I can't, I don't know.
Right. I just want to make sure, again, agree, students aren't going to write a petition and get a teacher fired. But I just want to make sure that we're not telling students it's okay to do it if you support us this way, but it's not okay to do it if you don't support me this way. So I just want to pull it out there.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. But I think there should be an understanding on either side of that, that student petitions aren't going to lead to people being fired.
Exactly.
That's where I stand on
Yep.
that.
Thanks.
Thank you. Anything else? Thank you so much.
There is no California School Employees Association report tonight, and there is no Service Employees International Union report. Receipt of official correspondence.
Official correspondence tonight is the Sonoma County Treasurer's Quarterly Report, which you receive on a quarterly basis. This is from December of 2022. And there's a letter from Sonoma County Office of Education, basically that confirms our first interim as a positive certification for our budget.
Great, thank you. Is there any public comment for items not on the agenda? Nope, all right, moving along. Consent agenda. Is there any questions or comments? Can I get a motion to approve items 8A through Q on the consent agenda?
I move that we approve the consent agenda 8A through 8Q.
Can I get a second? I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with 1 absence. No educational services this evening. Item 10, personnel services. 10A, approval of school calendars for 2023-2024.
You have the 3 calendars, high school, Richard Crane, and K8/VLA. I want to thank all the members of the calendar committee, as well as Ms. Hanson, and we're asking for your approval for these calendars tonight.
Great. And just, our calendar relies heavily on Santa Rosa City Schools calendar, right?
Yes, we have a shared expenditure, which is West County Transportation.
This is the only one that was changed.
Yes.
There's some confusion. We were handed a couple of calendars tonight,
yes,
too.
It's, if you look at the bottom of the calendar, and it talks about trimester 2 and trimester 3.
Right.
It says 2023. That should read 2024.
These are the correct ones.
So the ones you received have 2024 corrections on there.
Okay.
But high school and one other one was...
Well, the high school's correct.
Yeah, the high school is correct. That's why you don't have a hard copy of the high school.
Right.
But they're online, or they're part of our packet.
Yeah. Okay. And then who's on, how are the calendars determined? Who's on that committee?
Ms. Hanson, may I ask you to come to the front?
I don't need the names, but I don't necessarily need names, but who's on it?
Come talk about the committee. We do have members from all of our bargaining units. We also have Richard Crane represented because it is a unique schedule for year-round. And I'm going to let Ms. Hanson give you any other details.
Hi.
Hi.
Good evening. Yeah, so the calendar committee, this is our second year that I've been a part of it. And we do have a member from each of our unions. We always are sure to have someone from Richard Crane, just because their calendar's different. Like to have someone from Thomas Page to represent the TK through 8. And then also Tech High and Rancho representatives. This year, we actually are having the same calendar for high school, which is nice. Rancho voted, to have their semester end at the winter break. So last year we had 4 calendars. This year we just have 3. We have administrators on there. We have just a nice group of people, and we work together. Sometimes we do a survey. We did survey the district if they wanted a Tuesday start date or a Wednesday start date. So yeah, it's pretty solid committee, and we feel good about the calendar. And also what Myra was sharing about Santa Rosa City, so because we share busing services with West County, We are very much, kind of tied just financially to keep as close to a calendar that they have. But we're not the only district that is impacted by Santa Rosa City Schools calendar. Other feeder districts into Santa Rosa are also kind of tied to this. So we've reached out to say like, hey, can we have a little input before they just make the calendar, that we could provide input before that happens. So that's our goal, but we're getting there.
Great.
Any other questions?
No, just one comment. I'm glad that we're ending 24 on a Friday versus a Wednesday like this year. So
Yeah, we tried that this year, and so it'll be interesting to see how that goes with graduation and grad night and all of that. So
Yeah.
it just kind of worked to have it end on Friday this year, but we did get that feedback that for the high schools, it is nice to end on a Friday.
yeah, just concern for parents and relatives traveling on a Wednesday night versus a Friday. I know they just have to
Yeah.
take Thursday and Friday off. That's all.
Yeah,
Long weekend.
celebrate.
Yeah,
It's
there you
great.
go.
Great.
Great. Thank you.
They can just ask for excuse. I'll write it. I'll write it for all those parents that need not to come back to work on Thursday.
There you go. Any other discussions or questions about the calendar? Can I get a motion to approve 10A, approval of calendars for 2023, 2024?
I'll move that we approve 10A.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absence. 10B, approval of salary schedule revision for classified management.
So item 10B is related to item 10C. As you know, we are working to build an after-school program for every school site to meet the unique needs of every one of our school sites. So we have a person, Alana DeMars, who's in charge of the entire program. As we go, we climb to 2,000 kids. That is our goal. She is in need of someone to create additional support, because then it'll be, right now it's contained within certain sites, but now they're going to, these two folks are going to travel from site to site. So it's a second person that can assist her with development of the program and supervision and support of the staff that are involved in the program.
Great. Any questions about 10B, approval of salary schedule revision or discussion? All right. Can I get a motion to approve 10B, approval of salary schedule revision for classified management?
I'll move that we approve 10B.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absence. 10C?
10C is the job description for this position, so we've developed a coordinator position for to assist Ms. DeMars.
Great, all right. Any questions or comments about 10C, approval of job description for expanded learning program coordinator? I make a motion to approve 10C, approval of job description for expanded learning program coordinator. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absence. 10D, approval of job description revision for principal.
So our job descriptions are a little dated, and we really felt that it was critical to update them. And we did seek input from our current leaders. We didn't want them to be surprised. This definitely doesn't capture everything they do because they are quite talented. But we really wanted that focus on curriculum and instruction and the implementation of professional learning communities to be made a bold statement. So you can see that throughout the job description. So we're seeking the approval of the job description for principal tonight.
Great. Can I get a motion to approve 10D, approval of job description revision for principal?
I move that we approve 10D, the approval of the job description revision for principal.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absence. 10E, approval of job description revision for assistant principal.
Again, this is a job description that's been revised to meet the needs of the current needs of the district.
Great. Any questions or discussion? Can I get a motion to approve 10E, approval of job description revision for assistant principal?
I'll make the motion to approve 10E.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absence. Item 11, Business and Operations Services. Approval of Resolution 2023-12, authorization to apply for support to provide full-day preschool and full-day transitional kindergarten and full-day kindergarten facilities and file grant program applications with Office of Public School Construction.
Yes, the district is applying for financial support for our pre-kindergarten programs, and we need, and kindergarten. It all needed to say this. We actually passed a resolution earlier this school year, but it didn't have all the right programs in it for the application that we need to apply for funds. So that's what we're asking you to do today.
Any questions or discussion? Can I get a motion to approve 11A, approval of Resolution 2023-12?
I move that we approve 11A, approval of resolution 2023-12.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call?
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Martin?
Aye.
Trustee Nelson?
Aye.
Trustee Wing?
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Board Services, Fiscal Update and Planning.
I've got a couple updates for you tonight. First, as always, is the enrollment, current enrollment summary. We had a total of, or a net of 18 students leave the district in the month of January. So we had 51 kids enter the district, mostly from students from out of the county, 22 from the out of county, 5 from private schools, 12 from within the county, and then 12 other. And then we had 69 leave, the majority of which are the midterm grads. 30 of the 37 other make up that number. We had 12 students move within the county, 15 out of the county, most of which were out of the country, and 5 from private schools, or 5 that are going to private schools. So at the end of January, we have a total enrollment of 5,991, 18 difference from the prior month. Any questions?
Yeah, maybe I wasn't paying enough attention, but 5th grade went down 23 students. Is that an anomaly? We see here and there, and I understand the kids graduating, but what happened there? It's just because.
I was looking at that prior to making this presentation, and I noticed that the SDC number in elementary went up 34 kids. So I don't know. I don't want to make that jump, but maybe Rachel can comment on this.
Oh, it's a switch from one category to another?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that probably makes sense. I can't hear. Okay.
And then so VLA is just high school now?
Yes.
The students?
I noticed that as well. Or that is a great observation, because there are no elementary VLA kids currently.
And is the VLA, remind me, for high school, are we just using Ingenuity for that, or is it another program as well?
We use Edgenuity, yes.
It says 0 now. Maybe you can let us know at the next board meeting how many elementary students are in VLA.
I think it's 0 at this point, but I'll verify that number again.
Okay, thanks.
As always, if any questions about the update to the budget for January at this point, I'm going to be giving the second interim budget presentation in March, and my final, unless there are any questions, I'm glad to answer them. I'm going to go to the podium and give you a presentation on the governor's budget that I received some information on in January. All right, so I attended a governor's budget proposal workshop in January, and there wasn't a ton to talk about. You know, I'll go through this hopefully quickly. The main themes of the 23-24 governor's budget was a return to state budget development as usual. The economy is softening, but can weather the storm due to the reserves that have been built over the last several years. He's maintaining programs where possible while trimming others, and I'll get into a little bit of that. And the state balance is balanced. The state budget is balanced without dipping into reserves, but economic forecast, he has some kind of risky assumptions in there, could cause some issues down the line. With regards to the state budget and the economy, inflation, rising interest rates, supply chain issues are continuing to stifle some growth. The state revenue outlook is substantially different than the prior 2 years, which we've had, you know, a huge economic increase over, you know, in those last 2 years. And, you know, they're talking about, I say this all the time, but they're actually saying that we could go into recession in 23 or 24, 2023, 2024. Lower revenues are forecasted, as you can see, and that's a big deal. Again, he's doing a little bit of a shell game to balance the budget without going into reserves. And again, like I said earlier, it's there's some risky assumptions. So, as I said earlier, you know, the governor's budget is the funding that's going to be able to go into the governor's budget in the next year are getting leaner. He's trying to maintain, committed to the priorities like transitional kindergarten and expanded learning opportunities and universal meals. So none of those are being touched as of right now, which is all good for us. And he is trying to address further educational equity, and I'll get into that in a minute. It doesn't really affect our district, unfortunately. And one of the big things that I don't think is popular with the legislative branch, but there's a sweep of funding. You know, it was announced that we were going to get all this money for arts and music instructional materials in in a restricted resource, but then in November, the Proposition 28 passed, and I'll get more into this in a little bit, but because we're going to get that money, he's considering taking some of this money away, which, again, isn't popular. So hopefully we'll hear that he doesn't do that. So I show a version of this slide in many of my presentations, but you can see in 23-24, the COLA, which is the big story of the budget, is projected to be over 8%. And that is a good thing from a funding standpoint for the local control funding formula if they actually have the money to pay for it. And you know, since I've been to the workshop, the Legislative Analyst Office has come out and said, and given the governor some ideas on maybe you don't fund the whole COLA into the formula, which wouldn't be great for us, but maybe he could, you know, we'll see where it goes. But that's a big number, 8.13%. You know, that's going to cost the state an additional $4.7 billion over what the prior COLA was. And there's still two data points outstanding in order to calculate the final statutory COLA, so we don't even know, you know, we don't really know what the COLA is for 23-24 until almost as late as June, so. But that's not news to anybody. So the only, maybe I did something, sorry. The only additional proposal that he had regarding the LCFF is this equity multiplier, and there's going to throw a bunch of money into the budget to intended to augment resources to support high-need schools, but the eligibility is based on the percentage of students that qualify for free meals in the National School Lunch Program. And none of our schools, unfortunately, hit the 90% mark in TK through 8 and 85% in 9 through 12. We don't have any schools that qualify for any of that extra funding, which is unfortunate. And before I show the next slide, which is kind of exciting, the 8.13% COLA makes our base grants, you know, as you can see here, TK goes from 9,166 to 9,911. All that being said, you know, again, this is what's being proposed right now. And how this affects our district is that based on and this is, don't quote me on this number yet, we're still working on what our projected ADA is going to be for 23-24, but you know, we're projected to receive over $70 million through the LCFF in 23-24, and that's about $2.3 million more than what I projected in first interim, and that is mainly due to the 8.13% COLA. So really great news, and then that compounds, even though I think I showed earlier that the COLAs for 24-25 and beyond are a little lower than what we saw earlier this year when I presented to you in first interim, but the compounding effect of the 8.13% COLA, and again, I'll give you more information on that next month, how that affects our district, but it's, you know, all good news, right?
John, question?
Yeah.
How firm is that 8.13%? I mean,
well, the COLA isn't a made-up number. It's there are many data points that make the COLA that we use. It's what the state can actually, how much of the COLA the state can fund into the local control funding formula. And you know, based on the information that I've shown you earlier, you know, state revenues on a monthly basis are coming in a little lower than projected. the economy is slowing a little, growth is not as large, our big three, state, where the state gets the money, our big three, they just haven't been coming in as projected. So it really will be probably a fight on whether or not he can fund whatever the COLA is, but the COLA is at minimum going to be 8.3%, I think, 8.13% at this point. Like I said, there are still two data points that need to be determined, and that could be in June or right before July, before we actually know what that is. But he'll have to make a decision as to how much he can actually put into the local control funding formula, and that's how it affects our district. But anything over 5%, anything, because that was what we said it was going to be at first interim, or that's what we were using as the COLA projection for 23-24. At first interim, anything between 5.38 and 8.13 is more money for us at this point. So
other question, if you go back to the state deficit of how many billion?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so 20 will be 29.5 billion lower than the budget. How they're addressing who's going to take that hit?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to get into a whole lot of details, but it's a lot of shell game stuff. So at the state level, right, they can take some one-time revenues and not distribute those. Like one of the programs that I could have brought you more information. I guess I wasn't sure you would be interested in it. But the TK facility program, as an example, they're just pushing that out a year. That saves the general fund, the state general fund, some money that they can use to make up for the shortfall, as an example. And then let's see. Yeah, that would be a funding delay example. The big thing that I'm going to talk about in one of my last slides is the arts, music, instructional materials block grant. He's talking about not funding that fully to what they said they promised, kind of, when that resource came out, and that'd be a reduction that would save money to pay for something else. Any other questions about that? Ultimately, they have quite a bit of reserves saved to make up for, a really big shortfall in the future. So if the economy tanked by 23-24, which it's not supposed to, they have quite a bit of money to make up for it in reserves to continue to fund, so that we have a softer landing if it comes to that.
So it's kind of key where the economy goes, if they're going to have another significant, even if we're riding the wave, they've got additional funds, it'll soften it.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't come back,
yeah,
years down the road, there's issues.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm giving you the information that I have right now, and that's.
No, I understand.
Yeah. So, as I keep trying to say, that the arts, music, instructional materials block grant, which is quite a bit of money for this district, there's a proposed funding reduction. Here are some of the details. The funny thing is that they've given us half of what they said they were going to give us already, and they're going to distribute the next half in May. And if they actually proceed with reducing this funding, that means we're going to have to send the money back, which is unheard of. Like, no one does that. So again, it's not Yeah, it's not a popular idea with the legislature, and but we'll keep you posted. And the idea, it's not like the district would lose money, it would just come in a different form. The Proposition 28 that was passed in November has to do with arts and music in schools. This money actually is supposed to go directly to the school sites, and then they're supposed to make the decision on how it's to be spent. But it's kind of another shell game, right? We're getting this money. He needs money for something else. I don't think it'll be if this is the way it goes, it wouldn't be a net loss. It'll probably be just a, one for one kind of thing. But, we don't want to lose any additional funding that we could potentially get. Any questions about that? That's it. Thank you.
Thanks, John. All right. 12B, vote for representative to CSBA's delegate assembly. I believe there's just one person, right?
That's right. You have a ballot for Troy.
It's over here.
Where is it? I'm so sorry. I lost my
It's
binder.
okay.
For
It's in here.
Troy Knox, Sonoma Valley Unified School District.
All right. Sounds good. Any discussion or questions? All right. So can I get a motion to vote for Troy Knox for the representative to CSBA's delegate assembly?
I move that we approve 12B as we vote for the representative to the CSBA's delegate assembly.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absence. 12C, action to rescind resolution 2022-11 adopted on February 28th, 2022. The emergency resolution regarding potential concerned activity in the Cotati Roanoke Park Unified School District.
Yes, we adopt this policy on the 28th. This was an emergency resolution upon advisement from our attorney because we were having concerted activity. And when I'm asking, we had a settlement agreement to rescind this resolution. And then I will be sending a message out to RIPSIA members tomorrow morning.
Great. Any questions or discussion? Can I get a motion to approve 12C, action to rescind resolution 2022-11?
I move that we approve 12C, action to rescind resolution 2022-11.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call vote?
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Martin?
Aye.
Trustee Nelson?
Yes.
Trustee Wing?
Yes. 12D, public disclosure and ratification of the tentative agreements and collective bargaining agreement with California School Employees Association, CSEA.
So before you, we have the different articles that we discussed and agreed to in negotiations on sessions on April 26th, May 13th, and May 16th. Salary, holidays, vacation, leaves, classified employee organizations, and classified discipline process. So we're asking for approval of these articles.
Great. Any questions or discussion? Can I get a motion to approve 12D, public disclosure and ratification of the tentative agreements and collective bargaining agreement with California School Employees Association?
I move we approve 12D.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absence. Now it's time for Left's favorite part of the evening. So 12E through J are just nope. E through I are first readings only. Are there any questions or discussion on 12E through I? Otherwise, I'm just going to go through them. All right. 12E, first reading, Board Policy and Administrative Regulation 0460, Local Control and Accountability Plan. 12F, first reading of Administrative Regulation 5141.3, Health Examinations. 12G, first reading of Administrative Regulation 5142.2, Safe Routes to School Program. 12H, first reading Board Policy and Administrative Regulation 5148.2, Before and After School Program. 12I, first reading Board Policy and Administrative Regulation 5148.3, Preschool Early Childhood Education. Are there any discussions or questions on 12J through S? These will be second readings where we will have to do an action. No? Okay. 12J, I make a motion to approve first reading and waive second reading of Board Policy Administrative Regulation and Exhibits 1312.3 Uniform Complaint Procedures. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one abstention. 12K, I make a motion to approve 12K, second reading BP and AR 3460 Financial Reports and Accountability. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one abstention. 12L, I make a motion to approve 12L, second reading in BP 6146.4, differential graduation and competency standards for students with disabilities. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. I make a motion to approve 12M, second reading of BP and AR 3515, campus security. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. I make a motion to approve 12N, second reading of BP and AR 5142, safety. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. I make a motion to approve 12O, second reading of BP 3260, fees and charges. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. I make a motion to approve 12P, second reading of BP 6146.1, high school graduation requirements. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absence. 12Q, second reading of BP and AR 0450, comprehensive safety plan. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one abstention. 12R, I make a motion to approve the second reading of AR 3516.2, bomb threats. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absence. 12S, second reading of BP and AR 5131.7, weapons and dangerous instruments. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 12S. 12T, acceptance of gifts and donations to school and district.
We are asking that you accept the donations. We have a monetary donation for Monte Vista, and we have Tech High car detail, totaling $799.95.
So I will admit, when I read the car detail one, I for a second went, whose car are we detailing? Which I think would be an amazing benefit of all teachers in the district. And then I realized the money was coming from the car detail place. But anyway, I thought it would be exciting. All right, can I get a motion to approve 12T, acceptance of gifts and donations to school and district?
I'll make a motion. We accept 12T, acceptance of gifts and donations to school and district.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absence. Item 13, future business and agenda items. Do any trustees? Well, I guess we'll just go through one by one. Trustee Brown?
Nope.
Trustee Nelson?
No.
Trustee Martin?
Nothing.
The only two things that I have is maybe not next month, but at some point we're going to have to update the committee assignments. We kind of just told Trustee Martin what ones he's going to be on by leaving him open and saying here he is, and now with Trustee Alba's vacancy, we'll need to redo those. So could you, maybe Rochelle, could you just send out to the new board what they currently are, and then Oh, is it in everyone's packet? Okay, it's in everyone. I didn't know if everyone had it or if it was just, So maybe in the next month or two, we can look at it. And if any trustees have conflicts with work or personal stuff that they can't go to the meetings, just let us know and we can adjust it at the next meeting if needed. And then we need to start the Area 2 process for filling Trustee Alba's vacancy. So if you can start that process, we would appreciate it.
We are meeting this week to put the timeline together, and we will be happy to send it to the board as soon as we've completed that process, which would be probably as soon as the end of this week.
Great. Thank you very much. At this time, we will reconvene to close session to 3B, public employee discipline, dismissal, and release. Reconvene to open session. So, let's see here. Report of action taken in closed session. During closed session, the board acted to authorize the district superintendent or designee to notify the administrative employee principal pursuant to Education Code Section 44951 that the employee will be released from his or her position for the 2023-2024 school year. The vote was 4-0 with 1 absence. The meeting is adjourned at 8:34.